A or pre-Series A, don't try to be everything to everybody. Right now, you guys are trying to be kids and mothers and marketplace, right? Just pick one, do it really well, get your MVP, and see how big can this be, right? You know what I mean? So I think yeah, I would say that yeah, if I were to sit here today and give you a lot of lessons about how to, you know, what a few years ago they called growth hacking, right? It was trendy back then. It wouldn't do you justice because that's not what you guys actually need. I would say that, you know, if I look at it right now, my sense is that you need to get an MVP. Get to a basic MVP about what you want to do, right? I mean, there's a lot of ways to do growth, right? A lot of them involve some amount of money. And to me, the best way to grow users in a non-organic way, right, is that you combine money and a lot of discipline around data, right? And you will grow it, right? That's how we grew Barbie, by the way. A lot of discipline around data, but we also have access to money. But if you guys are before the money stage, then think about MVP. Think about how you can get a good MVP, use the MVP to raise money, right? Right? But don't rush into, you know, trying to grow something that's no MVP. It doesn't make sense. Right? You know, I've been working with Karen and Andy for almost 5 years now, right? You know, I've seen hundreds of teams, you know, through FI, through Ideabox, right? You know, the really good ones are those that really understand, you know, what am I doing here, right? How am I spending the next 6 months of my life doing this, right? Get to an MVP. They can take away and grow. But you know, specifically about kids market, I mean, can you walk me through the rest of the website? I see. Okay, sure. By the way, the other thing that I noticed as well is that a lot of people in Jakarta, right? I noticed when they do startups, they try to rush into the commerce element, right? Like e-commerce, right? It's I have to make some sort of revenue, right? I have to make some money, otherwise it's stupid, right? A lot of people actually say that. Maybe, right? But the way I see is that, like this kind of stuff, if you really feel passionate about the kids market, I would argue there's probably a bigger opportunity around media, around doing good media for parents, for kids, right? As a start, you know, build the user base first, and then you can think about commerce. You know what I mean? But like right now, I mean, you don't even have any media around. Look around. What media do you have for parents in Bahasa? Actually, not many, right? Most of it is actually done by the big brands as some sort of marketing, disguised marketing campaign, right? You know, like Nestle, Dancow might do something, right? But like really good media, very rare, especially online. Right? So I think, which is what I say. I think, hey, if you really care about this market, you need to try media, right? You don't have to rush into e-commerce. If you don't care about the market, you say, I just want to do e-commerce. Then that's a different story, right? That's a different angle. Right? But pick something. In general, pick a vertical that you feel that you care about. You know, you feel like, hey, this is something that we can really grow, right? Otherwise, you guys will be stuck doing this for the next 5-10 years of your life, right? Doing something they don't like, which is terrible because life is short. So this is my feedback for you guys. Any questions? If you still want to talk about growing this, I'm happy to.
I have questions about getting money from MVP venture.
Right.
For us, like in our B2B, we have to make our MVP,
right?
But we have problems like to monetize our MVP as it's like a dashboard for current owners to manage their business.
Sure.
So we have very limited features, and somehow like Well, we still getting feedbacks from them.
Okay.
We're really looking to know, do they really want to pay for our MVP or not?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Why don't you guys describe that? I mean, maybe we can just go back and forth, right?
Yeah.
You can describe the product and the MVP that you have in mind.
Yeah, our MVP is like a dashboard to
Okay.
car rental owners to manage their business.
Car rental owners.
Yes, it's include their CRM invoices to
Okay.
manage their car.
Okay.
So they will put all inventories in this dashboard,
I see.
and they can, manage schedules renting for Mr. Weihan for tomorrow until next week.
Sure, sure.
For certain pricing, we have
Okay.
your customer database, phone numbers, everything. So basically, for the admins and reservation departments, they will use this dashboard. But
Okay.
yeah,
Understood.
Yeah.
But so this is actually a good example, right? As well that I think like with KDPL here. I mean, as I said, that don't try to be too many things to too many people.
Yep.
You guys define it very very broadly, right? But in this case, in your case, I would say you guys define it in a very narrow way, right? So my question to you is, how many car rental owners are there in Indonesia?
Currently, we are the number of cars is 400,000. 440. 400.
440,000 cars. But how many companies or owners doing this?
49% of them are a big company,
Okay.
company, and then the rest of the market is the independent car rental owner.
I see.
Yeah. The big brands like Astra, Track,
Okay.
Asa, Adi, Sarana,
Okay.
and the other 51% is independent car rental owner. The market is right now is 1.9 billion for the car rental only in Indonesia.
1.9 billion.
US dollar in Indonesia.
I see. And
It's according to Euro Monitor.
okay. Okay. How are these cars mostly rented? I mean, is it for like business trips? Is it for tourism in Bali? Like, where are the big customers?
The big customer right now is for the we divide it by the time rented.
No, I understand. But who are the big customers? In the sense that is
Yeah,
it
right.
is it like B2C customers? Or is it more like B2B business? B2B.
But we targeted the B2C one.
So you're saying that, let's just say it's a $2 billion market today, right, in Indonesia, but mostly it's a B2B market. Is that what you're saying? Okay. But with this product, you have to go after B2C.
Yeah.
Okay, so how big is the B2C market roughly for car rental?
About 2% of the market.
2% of the 2 billion.
Yeah.
It's like 40 million, right? 2%.
Yeah, we target the rent under 2 weeks.
Okay, so mostly it's rent
Yeah,
above 2
because we
weeks.
divided that not like by doing the B2B or B2C. We divide it by the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So rent in 2 weeks.
Rent
Basically,
2 weeks.
It's more like retail consumers now, right?
Yeah, right.
Rent in 2 weeks.
Retail, but
So
also
2%.
the B2B also fall in this category also because
Okay.
lots of B2C or B2B also rented maybe under a week or so.
Okay. So I don't know what you guys' objective would be, right? But if you walk into a VC meeting and you say, hey, my market is only 2%. It's only like say $40 million. Right? People say that,
Our target market.
Yeah, why are we talking? You know what I mean? So it doesn't sound like a venture type business to me. You might do it as a proper business, right? A proper business that is funded by your family, right? There's some sort of cash flow. It's a nice software tool, right? What you're describing. But I don't think you can raise money based on what you just described to me, frankly, right? Because number one is too small. Number two is too niche. It's so niche, right? I mean, if you say, if you went to an investor and say, hey, look, car rental in Indonesia is a $2 billion market, and I have this really amazing thing that will disrupt the market, right? It will kill all the incumbents. People want to talk to you, right? if you go to a meeting and say, hey, look, I've got this nice whatever tool. Best case, address 2% of the market, right? And it's not even disruptive; it's complementary, right? Because you're helping the current guys, right? It's not very exciting. I mean, think about Uber, right? When Uber, when Uber first walked into those VC meetings, what did they say, right? They must have said something like, you know what, we're going to kill the taxi industry, right? You know what I mean? So something like that. And they did, right? In some countries around the world, they are killing the taxi industry, right? Which is great, right? That's the whole point of. That's why internet companies can have a big valuation, because they kill existing things. They make things better for the consumers, right? You know what I mean? But if you come along and say, actually, at best case, this is just incremental. I'm just improving things slightly, and the total size is 2%.
Not too sexy, yeah.
It's not about sexy or not. I mean, I just don't even think it's a proper venture idea. You know what I mean? And so it's fine. I mean, maybe say, hey, look, I don't want to be funded by VCs anyways. But, and, it's like a own personal project, like family business. It's fine, right? So these are different things. But I assume that many of you are here because you want to build a great company, right? Raise a lot of money, like say Tokopedia or Traveloka, right? I assume that, right? Right. So you think about it differently, right? Because like you said, how do you grow users in a B2B space? Frankly, I don't know. I have no idea, right? Because I've never done B2B growth, right? I've done a lot of it on the consumer side, and there's a very different skill set, right? Yeah. No, I mean, car rental, if it's still very much a B2B driven thing, I mean, maybe you think about things that you can do to disrupt that, but it's fairly hard. It's like, travel 15 years ago, right, was like, especially in the more developed markets, it was very B2B, right? And all the online players had a tough time trying to crack that market, because like people used to buy from Amex, travel agent, right? They kept on buying, even when they got cheaper fares from like Expedia, right, or Priceline. The consumers were the first to use it, right? Yeah, B2B is a more. The reason why the profits are fatter in B2B is because it's not so elastic, right? Even when the prices change, people will still keep on using it for other reasons, right? Yeah. That's why frankly, I don't really see many successful companies doing B2B on the internet, getting funded and then going very big. It's very, very rare.
On the B2B side, it's
It's very, very rare. I mean, the most successful ones that I know are like Salesforce, yeah. That's about it actually. I mean, not so many. Mostly in the US. Even in China, such a large market, it's really hard to do B2B. Really hard.
We also do like a B2B, also the B2C side. That makes us a little bit confused, because we also charge the commission based on the customer that come through our platform.
Yeah. I mean, for B2C, probably it's a more interesting market, right, to many investors. But in your case, the problem is that it's only 2% of the whole market, right? And unless you can tell a very good story about why is this going to grow from 2% to like say 20%, right? But the problem is, I just don't see a huge consumer rental market out there for now. I just don't see it.
The change is that now lots of companies, they don't want to rent on a monthly basis.
Right. So they rent on a weekly basis.
Yeah, that's right. So they're gonna be a shift in today's B2B market.
Okay. Why is that issue?
Because the monthly cost of the renting a car is high. So they are the mindset is that we're gonna do on-demand car rental.
Oh, I see. So no more.
That's right.
Yeah, could be. Could be. So that's not really B2C, but yeah, but kind of like B2B, but more retail.
Yeah, because we targeted the rent under 2 weeks.
Right. Could be. I don't know how big the market is, but yeah. If you really want to do that, then just get an MVP, right? Just say, okay, set a very simple website. Doesn't have to be fancy, basic, and after 2 to 3 months, you can show that you've got a few hundred people like this, small businesses that rent on a weekly basis. Then you got an MVP, right? Otherwise, it's just theoretical. It's just what you're thinking, basically. Right? I don't know. So, yeah, show the MVP. Once you show the MVP, then you can worry about the growth, right? Don't have the MVP, don't worry about it. There's no point. Show like you got 100 customers, even 10. Show 10 customers that are willing to use a website regularly, right? Because they think, hey, I can get cheaper cars here, and I'm willing to rent it on a weekly basis.
Yeah, we have already traction in terms of the revenue.
Okay.
Yeah, we operate in Bandung.
Sure.
For 4 months validation. We got total transaction 100 million.
Okay. Yeah, so that's a good example of a consumer market, right? Bali is a nice tourist place, right? But Bali, did the people order from the website, or how they do it? Did they order from phone? Phone. Okay. In Bandung as well. Yeah. I mean, you could run a nice service like that. It doesn't have to be website driven.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
but we sell it through
but
online.
Yeah, but you can still you can use it as a MVP, right? Take out what people like. Were they mostly Indonesians or foreign tourists? Mostly local. Is the foreign market bigger, like to Bali? But you don't want to do that.
Maybe still marketing it locally.
Okay, so you want to target only the local consumer, basically.
Yeah, right now, locally.
So you've done it for what, 4 months?
Yeah.
Okay, how many orders have you had?
Means divided by 100,000.
Divided by our average transaction is 500.
Oh, okay, so about 200, 20. Oh, 20. 200. That's 10,000. Yeah, that's a decent transaction. So basically, you place ads on the internet, right?
Yep, we post on forums, social media.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, but the point is, in ours, what we're doing in the moment is we're trying to gather as much inventories as possible around Indonesia. Because at the moment, we cannot get inventories like airplanes that we can just connect to airlines API. They knew how many seats available.
Sure.
It's not happening in car rental industry. Now we creating the dashboard, so let them to use the system. By the end of the day, we hope that they use it, and we know how many cars are available in the market. By that time, then we're going to launch our B2C. So we're planning to.
Yeah. My take on this is that you don't have to do all of Indonesia, right?
Focus on some cities.
Focus on one city. Right? Focus on one city. And you don't need a lot of supply. You know what is Gojek's biggest problem today? There are too many riders. too many people driving for Gojek, right? So now they say, let's just cut.
Yeah.
Let's just stop all this new driver recruitment. Not enough demand, right? For most, like, especially when you're doing MVP, right? Most of the time, there's never a supply issue, it's always a demand issue. I guess you guys have a good start with 200 orders in a few months, right?
Again, chicken and egg problems. In the beginning, we want to promote more to B2C sites, so we promise to the car rentals, hey, we're gonna help you to grow, we're gonna give you sales.
Sure.
But again, we have limited money and resources.
Then you just work with a few car rental owners, right? Work in one city, prove the MVP, and then scale it. Right? But as I said, don't try to be everything to everybody at this stage. Don't get nowhere. I mean, it sounds like it's a decent business, right? might not even have you might not even need a proper website. You can just have run some ads. People call you, from the ads. And then
But we also have a website.
Sure. But
very simple.
my point is that you don't even need it, right? In many ways, right? I mean, if you scale it up, so hey, you've got, let's say you're doing a few hundred transactions a day or 1,000 transactions a day, every day, right? Then people want to have like online access, real-time access to inventory, and right? And now I think you still do it the easy way, kind of prove the concept, right? Grow it, put it to a revenue number, you can take that to investor and say, hey, anyone want to invest, right? It's good that you have got background and understanding of this business. Right? You can start with that. Yeah, I guess if you're that, then I guess people ask. I guess the key question would be, okay, you guys can do 400 transactions, so 200 transactions in 4 months, right? Can you do 20,000 in a year? Right? Can this be scaled up to become a proper business? Those are the reasons why people will fund you, basically. Sounds interesting, by the way.
Do you have any more questions? Still thinking.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Maybe you could inspire them by saying how you were able to get traction for your games or the news. Like how your start.
Sure. I mean, because we started with games, right? And with games that, with some amount of money, right, you're able to show revenue very quickly, actually, right? And from that, we were able to raise additional money and then use that money to build things like Barbie and Janticus, right? And again, we're able to show traction, right? But you guys have to understand something, that all of this stuff, right, is facilitated by sufficient funding, right? It's very rare that people walk out there with no funding and get to a lot of traction. I think it's very, very rare. I mean, look at my favorite business on the internet today in Indonesia is like Traveloka. How much do they burn every single day to get to this? At some point they will make it back. I'm not too worried about that, right? But as I said, that you guys have to understand how this game is played, right? Be able to get into the funding cycle, right? But for you to get into the funding cycle, you have to show a proper MVP. Show that, hey, this is what people want to buy in Indonesia. This is what people want to use, right? And not only do they want to use it, there's a huge market, right? Some people want to use it, but it could be a very tiny market. Right? I mean, I guess my question is, for car rental, how big is that? What you guys are doing? How big is that really? It's been successful in some countries. Like I think China has had a few hits in car rental. Right? US not really, but US is because it's really controlled by a few companies.
1.9 billion. From $1.9 billion, 2% is B2C, like under 2 weeks.
Right.
So let's say one day, or we could enter the 98% market. It would be interesting. It would be more interesting.
Then show the MVP. What is
Yeah.
your MVP to enter the 90%? Right? I can see kind of the beginnings of MVP to enter the 2%. I can see that, right?
Yeah.
But okay, but it's different. Yeah, I mean, $40 million, 2% is $40 million, right? It's not a big. No, I mean, look, at the end of the day, like the stuff that we do here around the table, I mean, it's really hard work, by the way. It's not just, it's not yeah, being able to raise funding is great, but that's like step one, right? The rest of it is a lot of discipline and a lot of iteration. You have to be willing to say, this thing sucks, right? Let's go back and redo it, right? Then have the discipline to look at the data again and say it sucks again. And so it's pretty painful, frankly, right? Usually I say that you have to pick something that you really enjoy doing, because most of the time, like in pre-Series A, even Series A, even Series B, life can be hell. It can be really, really just a lot of work and iteration and failing, right, basically. But that's what it takes. That's what it takes. If you guys want to build something that you want to sell one day, or IP or whatever, right? Build into a good company. There's no easy way. Ardo, you got anything else you want to discuss?
Not yet.